Hey there YouTube, got another video coaching review to check out. This one is coming from Adrish, I believe. Excuse me if I'm mispronouncing your name, maybe Adrish. I'm not the greatest with names, to be honest, but I do try my best, so apologies if I messed that one up. This young man is actually from India, and he's working to better himself, so I give him some critiques, some places to start. He's been doing this for a very little period of time, but he's looking to get ahead and to basically just get some good feedback to get started on the right foot. So if you're not familiar with what video coaching reviews are, I sit down here in front of my computer after somebody submitted their video of them shooting, potentially asking about form or maybe tuning stuff, potentially even some training stuff, practice stuff, things like that, mental things, anything. And then I sit down here and give a response of about 20 minutes critiquing the video feedback, as you'll see here shortly. So anyway, thank you again, Adrish, or Adrish, one or the other. My apologies again. Thank you very much for the support, and thanks for submitting a video coaching review.
You're watching the Kaminski YouTube channel.
Hi, Adrish. Sorry, Adrish, I would assume. Sorry about that. Hopefully I pronounced your name right. Anyway, I appreciate you submitting a video coaching review. It's nice to work with somebody from India, and thank your father for purchasing this for you, by the way. So, let's see, you're from India, you're 14 years old, and you started archery 2 years ago when the lockdown started, and ever since then you started learning by watching my videos. That's excellent. I hope they help. Last year you qualified and played for the Recurve National Sub-Juniors, but didn't get any position, more practice, and continued this year, and you won the bronze medal, and you're from the National Sub-Juniors Field Archery Under 17 tournament, and you want to improve your current form and execution. Excellent. Well, I will take a look at your videos and give you some feedback. Let me open up my file here that has your videos, and we'll start with, let's see. We'll start with the other one you sent, this one. I'll find a front-on view. There we go. We'll start here. So, not too bad for being only in this for 2 years. There's a few things we can work on. Let's see what's going on from this view. Okay, so like I said, overall, for only doing this for a couple of years, it's actually quite good. There's a few things that definitely we need to work on. One thing to be concerned of is this here. Normally, it really depends on the tournament and things like that. Yes, you are not drawing the bow back. The bow is completely at brace height here. But what I'm concerned with is the angle that you are pointing the arrow at. Depending on the tournament, depending on who is the judge, and depending on your opponents, they may file a protest against you and call this sky drawing. Sky drawing is drawing your bow back in an unsafe manner with the arrow pointing too high. Could be pointing up too high or like off to the targets to the side. That can also be unsafe. And so what can happen is they can basically call a protest on you and say this is unsafe in a sky draw, and you will no longer be able to lift the bow this high. So in the middle of a tournament, you'll have to change your form, which obviously is not fun and not a good idea. So try to not point so high with the actual bow. I know you're not drawing the bow back, but as you start to get into actually drawing the bow back, if you were any higher, they could potentially call you for sky drawing, and that would be a problem. So I would suggest just trying to make sure that you're not pointing the arrow in such an excessively high manner. Just because in the middle of a tournament, I would hate to, for you to need to change your form, because it's just not fun. That's not a good idea, and I wouldn't want that for you. So I would just reconsider such a high draw. Next would be, I like your timing, I like your rotation, I like everything moving. There are a few things that I would suggest. One of the main things is after the shot, when the shot breaks, if we start from, let's see, while you're at full draw and you shoot the arrow, look from here and now watch your head position. Specifically, you can see your eye here, the left eye. But as I go forward in time, as the arrow goes, you continue to turn your head to the left. You see how now you've turned, you're here, and then you do this, basically. That is either one of two things. One is tension, too much tension turning the head, and your head is automatically doing this, which that's not good. But also, the next thing would be wanting to see where the arrow is going. It's called peeking. It's an easy habit to form, especially as a new archer, but it's a bad habit because what can happen is before the arrow is gone out of the bow, you can start to turn your head. And so you're in the middle of releasing and you're wanting to see where the arrow goes, or that tension just being too built up into the system. So what is happening is we will actually see I can see your head turning as you're releasing here. I'll zoom in so you'll be able to see it a little bit. So watch right here behind your ear, this line of hair right through here. You can see how your ear is covering the hair completely and your ear is actually touching the wall back here. But as I go forward, watch, as you're letting go, see that? The arrow is still on the bow, your fingers are actually still on the string, and now I can see a line of your hair where your ear is. Whereas before, no line, now there's a line, more line, more line, more line, right? And so that means you're turning your head further and further each time I go forward one frame. So forward, forward, turning, forward, the arrow's just leaving and your head is turning a lot more, turn, 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 turn. So part of it I think is potentially called peeking. You're looking to see where the arrow goes, but also part of it is, watch this, you're at full draw, you just came to anchor. Now we're going to go forward, and right before you let go, without the head moving, now what I want to do is I want to compare these two screenshots. So the top is just as you came to anchor. The bottom is right before you let go. And I want to see, does the head change position at all? Definitely the string on the face changes. You can see that here it is just lightly touching. Here it is really touching. The position of the head, I'm trying to see where I can see a change. So this is again early in the shot, late in the shot. I'm trying to find a definitive spot I can point to you on where I see a difference in distance. And actually where I see it is right here. If you look at this shadow, you'll see a little circle right here. That's from the things on the wall above you that are hanging down. It's a shadow right here. It's a lot more defined here, you can see it, but it's the same place here. See how from here, this edge to the string to your head is shorter compared to here. It's much longer. And also the string distance from here to your eyebrow is longer earlier in the shot. So what I'm seeing is probably that you have way too much tension and way too much pressure into the face, and what I'm seeing is most likely your draw length is a little bit too long. The reason I'm saying that, it was from the previous view from behind. I will explain that and show it to you, but how I can see it from this side that your string or your draw length is too long is if you were to draw a line up like this from between your feet through your spine all the way up, your head should be in the middle of that line. And you can see, if you draw that line straight up, you can see the shoulders are back this way. So you're like this, leaning back. And also, as you lean back, this front shoulder will come up slightly so that you can see how it's almost touching the arrow. It's a little high. But then as you lean back here, you can see your head also heads back. And you can see your head is very far back this direction. So to me, I can see that your draw length is too long. And what that is causing is a lot of excess pressure in against the face here. And so as you're pulling through, you're doing this as an exaggeration to pull through the clicker. That's not exactly how you do it, but I'm just trying to show you that by showing you how, like an exaggerated version, meaning I'm making it seem worse than it is so you can see what I'm trying to say. And so what I see is that head moving back and you're pulling like so much by the time you shoot, there's a lot of excess energy. And so the reason that I, number one, said the draw length is too long is your alignment is good, it's just too good, essentially. So see how these little things hanging from the balcony, those were the shadows that were on the wall. So as you come into full draw, the camera is actually in basically the perfect position where the string is in the center of the limbs. That means we're right behind the arrow line. But you can see how your elbow is this really far behind the arrow line, and that's usually extremely uncommon in my experience. You're very young, so you have the youthful flexibility on your side, which is a very good thing, and I'm glad you're able to get into this alignment. I'm not saying you should make your alignment better. I'm just saying that you should probably shorten your draw length some to get you leaned further forward so you're not so far back with so much effort to get into that position. Even though it may be easy for you right now, when you start to shoot higher draw weights and shoot further distances, the excess draw length will cause so much extra intensity, and it is doing it right now. The extra intensity, that means how hard you're trying to shoot, is so high that after the shot, you have this explosion afterwards because you're so high up as far as like effort level. You should lower it down some, and lowering it down will make you more calm. You'll be able to just shoot like the professionals shoot. The highest scoring archers in the world, they make it look like it's so easy. They don't move at all. Nothing changes. Nothing moves. Nothing does anything. It stays still. They just shoot, and it looks so simple, right? So why you have this excess movement going on, and you can see it from this angle too. Watch the whole body. So your whole body, everything about it. Let me shorten this up a little so you can see more of yourself. As the shot breaks, do you see the chest move? Like that. The head comes back, the chest moves. All of this is happening because there's too much effort. That's too long a draw length, too hard to pull. And this excess amount of explosion is causing a disturbance in the body. Really could use to be a little bit more consistent there. One major thing that can help with this is the hips, controlling your hips more. So as I go to forward in time, we'll show you the whole view. Watch the hips, see how they turn. And then there's no connection between the two, and then it moves after the shot. They turn as you draw, and then it's wobbly, and then really floppy as you shoot. So you'll be able to see it from here too. As you go to draw, you turn the hips, unstable, wobbly, and then explosion, floppy. Do you see that? Okay, so I had to say it a few times and show it a few times just to make you see what's happening. Actually, if you look at this first, where the hips are right now, over your ankles, they are together on top of each other. That's perfect. But as you go to draw back, that hip turn, and you can really watch your quiver too. Watch the quiver. See how it's here and now big turn. And all this movement and then flop, right? Okay, so what's happening is you start like this. Feet, hips. Then your feet may be this way, target being this way. Feet, hips, okay? But then as you go to draw back the bow, your hips do this. They straighten towards the target, okay? And what that is, is you have no stability, no engagement, no connection that connects the upper half to the lower half and no connection from the lower half to the ground. And so what you need to do is, if you look at a video, I've produced 2 videos that you can check out. It's called, it's in the form series. I have a Recurve form series and a Barebow form series. Both of them are fine. I think the Barebow one's a little better because it's newer and I produced it more recently. It will apply to you even though you're shooting Olympic style recurve, because this is just about the stance. So you want to view the set video and stance and posture. That's the one that you would want to view. What I'm wanting to address with you is your hip stability and hip engagement. If you imagine standing on paper towels, you know, that you clean things up with, and you have the perforated line in the middle, the line that you rip the paper towels on. You have 1 foot on each square, and you want to feel like your feet sink into the ground, and I want you to imagine tearing the paper towels apart. And if you don't have paper towels, you can do the same thing with a sheet of paper. You have where a sheet of paper is folded in half, 1 foot on one side, 1 foot on the other, and I want you to tear the paper in the middle on the fold by taking your feet and pushing them outwards, straight out, not with your toes, not with your heels, not with the sides of the feet or the inside of the feet. Flat feet sink into the ground, tear the paper towels apart. When you should do that is right with the bow. You cut everything with the bow down. As you set your hook and your grip before you lift the bow, that's when you should tear the paper towels. How hard you should tear the paper towels is a level of maybe 2 out of 10. So intensity wise would be, this is 0, I am relaxed. Sorry about that, I had to pause the video. So because of the frame rate. So anyway, intensity, this is 0, I'm relaxing my hand, okay? This is 10, I'm squeezing as hard as I can. But what I can do is I can close my hand with a 2 out of 10. Okay, so that's how hard I want you to pull the paper towels apart, is a 2 out of 10. Now, why you would do that is what it will do is it will lock you into one whole piece from top to bottom, from the top half to the bottom half. And what that will do is it will give you so much more stability, and you'll recognize when you have all those disturbances going on. You will also no longer have this unstable wobbliness at full draw. You'll see here, now you're at full draw. Watch the quiver, watch the hips, watch the space here between your hips and your bow, and just compare your body overall to everything in the background and watch. See how the quiver's just wobbling everywhere, the hips are turning, turn, move, 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 unstable, and then a lot of movement at the end, especially from this type of view. Turn the hips, bend in half, upper half's different than the lower half. But if you sink into the ground, tuck the hips under, tear the paper towels apart like I talk about in my form series, it will be all stable, one piece, and no of this floppiness everywhere. Overall, the way you execute the shot is quite good. I like that. I just think that you could really benefit from stabilizing the head, the body, everything, and stand more upright towards the camera. That will probably shorten your draw length. I'm gonna guess at least a centimeter is gonna be pretty ideal for you. And you can see that head turn really well from this angle. You can see how much you go from here to there. And that's just not what any top shooter does. They maintain their head position perfectly still. If you can do that, your scores will go up a lot. Also, something I would consider is as you go to draw back, make sure you're reaching to the target. Whatever I'm pulling back with here, I'm also pushing forward equal amounts. And that can also help prevent your leaning back. Because right now what you've got going on is as you go to draw the bow back, it's all just drawing back. It's all pulling here. Nothing is happening here to balance it. And so when you do that, this happens. You tend to lean back, you tend to head back, and then again, that intensity, more than 2, is going high. If I'm here, I'm drawing, but I'm also reaching at the same time, both sides together like this, not just this. Because right now you're just doing this, and that's where the lean back comes from. And that's where you can watch this. Watch the front half and watch how much your back half moves. Front half stays still, back half moves a lot. And then after the shot, you've got a little bit of pressure in the front, which is good, but if you set it earlier, it'll be a lot better. So I really think those are the main things that I would suggest working on. And also, I didn't notice because this is the first one that you actually showed me, the full beginning. Hook and grip should be done down in like a rest position where the bow is resting maybe between your legs, how you're holding it, or something like that, because this pause right here, that is a lot of excess energy you're burning up in the front half of the shoulder. That will start to burn, and overall just have more fatigue because you're unnecessarily holding your bow partially up before you lift the bow and then go back into full draw. You'll see here, you pause for a decent amount of time and it really ends up just kind of wasting energy. Not necessarily super important to change, but it might be something to think about, because if you don't waste this energy, you'll be able to shoot more arrows easier with less fatigue and less tiredness. Also, in a tournament, you'll have more energy by the end of the tournament and therefore potentially just be able to shoot better. So you might want to consider that a little bit. Again, really just all related to the body control. You can see the hips are wobbly, the bow's unstable. All of that will come from stabilizing through the hips a little bit better, balancing out by reaching as you pull back. Don't draw back so far. Even here, you can see you're already leaning back. And this leaning back, this direction, is probably because part of the reason is holding the bow up here before you draw back, because you're having to lean back to make it easier to hold up, because this is an odd position to be in. Be relaxed down here, like in my shooting videos, especially the one I did of the San Lita video. Let's see if I've got a video of me shooting here. Easy. Yeah. So if I move this over and show you really quick what I would suggest. Now watch. See how the bow right now is on my legs. That's it right there. See how this is rest position? The bow is right there where I'm just about to lift the bow. The limbs are touching my legs, resting on my legs, and then I lift the bow and go right into the shot. See how I go right into pulling back? There's none of that pause here, which causes this, which then causes this, and then you can see how it continues to go down the line. So really all you need to do is try to eliminate that leaning back, reconnect the upper half and the lower half, lock them together with more stability, and really try to focus on that before really even going too much further. Next would be reaching that way as you're pulling back at the same time, maintaining the head position during the shot, all the way through follow through. Don't turn the head, don't look for the arrow, don't push into the string, maintain the head position, draw to your head, finish the shot. Like I said, because of all of those changes, you'll probably end up shortening your draw length ever so slightly, so just expect that. Other than that, like I said, let me know if you have any questions, just email me back, and I look forward to working with you, and good luck. I hope this helps.